Hey, what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I'm a property investor. I've been investing in properties now for 12 years. Right now, I'm standing outside the most amazing building I've ever seen. As it happens, I own this building. This is my castle, Ribbesford house. And a lot of people I know are really interested in this building, in the figures, the challenges, the progress, what's happening, what I'm doing with it. So yeah, the GDV right now is 6.35 million. It's a big project. It's come with a lot of big challenges. We've overcome many of them. Many are still to overcome. So I'll give you a lowdown, show you around, talk you through the figures, and let's see what happens. Let's go. So when we bought this from auction, the biggest problem with it was the roof, because the roof was falling apart, it was falling down, and I think that was one of the scariest aspects to this building. So we have now fixed the majority of the roof. Some of it is still off, we've taken it off completely. And also the windows were mostly smashed. We've changed, majority of the windows have been fixed, have been repaired, have been replaced. Now we have to do everything like for like, because this is a grade 2 star listed building. We have to, if we're replacing a broken window, we have to put a new window that fits with the character of the building, which of course is really, really expensive, but it's a big thing. And you know what I think the biggest thing with this project is? The conservation officers, the council, English Heritage, we've built really good relationships with them, and they've been really supportive. They understand what the vision is, how we want to restore this. The history to this building is incredible. You can Google it. It's got its own Wikipedia page, Ribbesford House. You can see the 3 French soldiers trained here. Winston Churchill's visited regularly. Charles de Gaulle used to be here regularly. In fact, one of the 3 French soldiers actually came down from France to Mayfair and took me out for dinner. So that was amazing. But the interest from a historical point of view on this building is just absolutely immense. Now, I'm not really going to go inside too much, because although it is safe to go inside, it wasn't safe. Like when I first went round here, the roof was crumbling, there was bits falling down. It was also filled with junk. Like we had to get so many skips, and it was really difficult going through everything, because some things, there was like old wet sofas and rubble, but then there was also, you know, some quite interesting historical paintings. So it was a real challenge just emptying it out. But we've now done that. And there's just so much sentimental things inside and around the building, which we're not gonna change. We're gonna keep the character, but also keep the sentimental things. So right here, you'll see there's a French plaque, and you know, respect to the soldiers that fought here. There was over 200 French soldiers that trained here during World War II, and 2/3 of them lost their lives in the war. So I've got a lot of sentimental feelings about this building as well. I know some of the people they say formulas, not feelings. For me, this is both. For me, this is, yeah, I'll talk through the figures. The profit's going to be really, really good. I'll make 7-figure profit on this project, assuming it all goes ahead to plan, which I think it will once it's finished. But also, I think just I just love it. You know, I absolutely love it. So what's this going to be once it's finished? That's what you want to know. So, okay, everything you see at the front, this is all going to be apartments. So we've currently got planning permission for 10 luxury, massive apartments along here. And these apartments, by the way, these aren't going to be small. These are going to be big. They're going to be luxurious. They're going to be done to a really high standard. And then all this wing here. So we've got planning permission for 4 houses along here. In fact, that's where Simon lives. So that house is kind of already there. These are ruins, so we're going to fix these all up, and that's the minimum. So 10 apartments, 4 houses. Now, we didn't want to cram lots of apartments into the building, but what we are going to do is we've changed the scopes of the works. See, when I first bought this, that was it. 10 apartments, 4 houses, easy peasy. Now we've increased the scopes, so this is a much bigger project than it was first going to be. All the works that we want to do to fix the houses, to fix up the apartments, everything has currently been approved. It's been approved by English Heritage. It's been approved by the conservation officers, the council, planning departments. Everything's been approved. This little hole right here, that's where the French used to stick their flag. There was a French flag that used to go here. So again, just amazing place. Okay, so these buildings here, right now, all of these outbuildings, they're just garages. So they're not attached onto the building. They're not really used for anything apart from just storing junk. And at the moment, there's not much in them. Some old cars and rubble and boxes. And these ones are a bit bigger. These ones, I mean, honestly, this is like dead space. Now, previously, prior to the pandemic, and don't get me wrong, the pandemic has hit me negatively, but I believe as an entrepreneur, there's always positives. And one of the positives is that Boris Johnson has scrapped, or is in the process of scrapping, some of the rigid regulations around planning. So it's looking likely, and what we're going for, we're in conversations right now, that we're going to be able to use all this space to build extra houses. So currently we've got planning permission for these houses. This, we didn't think we were going to be able to do anything with this. But now the plan is to build a lot more houses along here. And there's also, I mean, bear in mind, we've got 8 acres of land. So we're in conversations. I don't want to say too much, but what I will say is the scopes has got bigger. The vision has got bigger. Let me show you how bad this was. So down here, you may remember, if you've seen an older video that I did, this whole area was absolutely riddled in Japanese knotweed. It's great to see the death of the Japanese knotweed. It is slowly dying. So they're injecting this regularly. And Japanese knotweed is a weed that you do not want in your garden. It can bring your house value down to nothing. So there was so much Japanese knotweed around here. But the good news is the Japanese knotweed is now gone. So all of the Japanese knotweed has been destroyed by the professionals. I bought this for £800,000. People think, £800,000? I mean, in this area around Ribbesford, you can buy a house, a 4-bedroomed house for £800,000. This is like a 20-bedroomed castle, which we bought for £800,000. One of the reasons was because it had things like Japanese knotweed all around it. Now, we fixed the Japanese knotweed, so straight away I've pushed the value up. We've also, there was this is where it gets really bad. So the building had some serious structural issues. Now, we didn't know what was causing the structural issues. We could tell that things weren't quite right. There was cracks in the walls, and we found a natural spring just down here. And the natural spring was shooting water underneath the ground at the foundations to the building. Now that was causing some serious structural issues. So what we've had to do is we've had to go down, we've had to repoint the natural spring. So now it's shooting the way it should, which is towards the moat, which hopefully in time will bring water back to the dried up moat. And it's also going to stop damaging the structure of the building. And there was other things as well that were affecting the structure of the building. And I mean, there was so much damp. And I'm not talking damp where the walls are just a little bit black. I'm talking so damp that things are falling down. The roof was falling down because of the damp. And one of the reasons for that was there was trees that had, well, this is just one of the reasons that wasn't helping, but there was so many trees around that were wet trees pushing against the building. Thank God that we've had permission to chop down the trees, which has not only helped the damp problem, but it's also when you're inside, it's just opened up the building. Now there's light shining through the windows and it's just got better view. So that kind of thing, you know, it's one of those things. It can take months to get that sort of thing sorted, but it's pushing the value of the property up and up and up, ready for our end valuation. And the end valuation, based on what we've currently got planning for, is 6.35 million. I mean, when I bought this, I didn't expect that. When I bought this, I was thinking maybe the end valuation could be about 5 million, best case. It's now 6.35 million. We're also probably going to get scope to further the development to add more value. I wouldn't be surprised if this building ends up being worth 8 million by the time we finish with it. The challenging part now, I'm just going to be real. When I bought this, I didn't have all the money sat in the bank. I didn't buy this with any of my own money. I got some investors' money, I got bridging finance. So when I bought this, I didn't have a few £1,000,000 sat in the bank ready to restore this. And, you know, like most entrepreneurs and like how I started my journey as a working class 17-year-old, you kind of just have to, as Richard Branson says, say yes and figure the details out later. So that's why I mentioned right now, we're working ridiculously hard. I've sold off some of my little houses. I've put some of the money into this. I've also opened up investors to come in on board. So we're negotiating at the moment. So fingers crossed, man, and I will keep you posted, but fingers crossed, we're going to be able to get this exterior finished by early next year. And then the fun will start when we can start doing all the interior work. So once it's all finished, what's going to happen? Am I going to sell? Am I going to refinance and pull my money out? And you know what? We've got different strategies. So I think there's going to be a combination of. There's also, this area is a prime spot for holiday lets. So serviced accommodation, holiday lets. All the hotels around here are booked. We are literally 5 minutes from Bewdley, which is a beautiful, beautiful centre. We are 5 minutes from the safari park. In fact, if you come here at 5 a.m. and listen real careful, you can actually hear the lions. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, I'm really not. You can hear the lions roaring from the safari park when they're being fed at 5 a.m. So there's a lot of different possibilities for this. In terms of rendering, it was, you might remember this from back in the day, the outside was a mucky kind of colour, and we've now got the colour which has been approved, which is going to be like a nice kind of sandy grey castle colour. The rendering has actually started. We've removed all the old render, which has been pulled down, and we're going to get the whole thing nicely re-rendered, which is going to be great. After we've finished this, in fact, not even after we've finished, every project that I've been doing, because I've been working on other projects, other joint ventures, developments, and everything feels really small now compared to this. Like buying a house and turning it into a little block of flats, even building houses and from scratch, it feels really small compared to this. So I'm really grateful to everyone that supported me in this journey. I'm also really grateful to the neighbours. I mean, one of the issues when you buy a building like this in an area, especially where you don't live in the area, I live just outside of London, this is in the Midlands, is sometimes the neighbours don't like you and make things difficult. So it's been great to just have a really good relationship with the neighbours. Thank you so much to the neighbours that have been supportive, that have kept an eye on the place. We've also, and part of that's two-way. Like for example, I own not just this 8 acres and this entire estate, but also I own the road that leads up to the castle. And you know, just being a decent human being, like we give the church access to use the road and different things like that. So thanks to the neighbours, thanks to the builders. There's been so much work that's happened. The project management team, Ben Machak and Yanga, that have just been really, really good. And yes, the scope's got bigger. I'm grateful to the builders also just working with me through this difficult time of coronavirus and the pandemic. I know there's been a lot of builders that haven't had stock and haven't had material and I'm just really grateful, because I know doing any project of this size comes with its serious challenges, and this has had pretty much every problem you could have. But I'm really pleased to say that every problem that has either been rectified or has been identified, and we've got a clear plan how to overcome it. So we've de-risked it. Now it's safe. You know, now we just need to finish this thing. So whilst it's going to be a little while before this place is totally ready for tenants, there are tenants currently in this house. I'm not talking about Simon. We got bats. The bats! And the bats have got more rights than tenants, and tenants have got a lot of rights. They don't pay any rent and we can't evict them. We've had a real problem with bats. On top of all the issues with the coronavirus, the pandemic, getting all the planning, the Japanese knotweed, the structural issues, which are all sorted, the cash flow from the business, continuing to fund this thing, the bats have been a big problem. And I'm pleased to say that we have now got a license to work around the bats. We have to rehome the bats, but that's been a real issue. I think that here's the thing I'm pleased about, okay? Whilst it's taken a long time, I'm really pleased, of course, with the end value. I'm really pleased that we've increased the scopes, but I'm really pleased. The reason most people don't tackle projects this big is because of fear of all the things that could go wrong, you know? The issues like bats, the licensing, the planning, the structural issues, ending up buying a property that's suddenly a lemon. We've got the best people working on this in the country. We've got the best cost managers, the best surveyors, and we've de-risked everything. So now we know exactly what we're dealing with. And you know, I just want to say, listen, if you take on a massive challenge like this, a massive property like this, is it going to come with challenges? Yes. You're going to learn a lot through it. And the people that are going to make the biggest impact and have the biggest businesses are people that take on the biggest problems and find solutions for it. So again, another shout out to the team that have been helping find solutions on this. I'd advise you probably to start small and slowly get bigger and bigger. Next update on this project, when's it gonna be? I reckon, you know what? Next time I do an update video on this, might be early next year, we're gonna be in a situation whereby we've got I'll be able to tell you exactly what's happening planning-wise, how many houses we're going to have, how many apartments we're going to have. I'm also going to have completely rendered the whole castle. The roof's going to be completely fixed and airtight, and we're going to be getting ready to start going inside, doing the renovations inside the property. So that's what's next. Thank you for watching the video. Smash the like, drop a comment, and if you're interested in taking on a big project, or if you potentially want to do some business, I'm very limited what I can say on YouTube because there's so many people, but get in touch. Let's have a chat, and I'll look forward to getting to know you, doing some business, and keeping you posted on what happens with this fabulous building. Thanks for watching. Peace out.